All right, talking sports family. Let's talk about Shedeur Sanders. All right. Uh, we all know who he is. We all know his dad. We all know about him. Came onto the scene a couple years ago in Jackson State with his dad there. Moved on to Colorado. They were big news. Okay, now he's with Cleveland, drafted in the fifth round. So let me just say this, and this is my take. Shedeur Sanders deserves to be the number one starter going into this season for the Cleveland Browns. And I'll tell you why. Let's just start with his preseason game. Last Thursday, 14 for 23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He really had control over the entire game. His throws were on the money. He had poise in the pocket. Only one sack, and that was, I think, in the third quarter. And you could just see his control on the game. Yes, he might have been going against Panthers, who not the best defense, but still for this to be his first NFL game, he wasn't rattled. He was poised. He threw great balls. He's very accurate, as he has been as a quarterback. So for that reason, and plus there are other reasons, and I'll mention those a little bit later in the video. I just believe that he deserves to be the starter. Unfortunately, right now he's dealing with an oblique injury. They said it's not too serious. Honestly, I really just think the Browns are putting him on ice for a little bit to let Dillon Gabriel, who had an injury last week for the game. I just think they're getting other opportunities to get their other quarterbacks out there. I don't think the injuries are real. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, I think he deserves to be the starter because, number one, this game was in Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was in Carolina. The fans showed up. They were out there, y'all. They had so many people in 12 jerseys. It was crazy. They were spinning the crowd, and everybody was cheering once they had the touchdown. This is a type of marketability that Cleveland hasn't really had in a lot of their franchise, probably since Baker Mayfield. But let's just talk about the quarterback situation also, because they have literally 6 quarterbacks on the roster. And yeah, of course, it's preseason. Like, you can have, over 100 players, something along those lines. But Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson, Tyler Huntley, Joe Flacco, and then the 2 rookies, Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. Kenny Pickett, let's just be real, he's not good. We've seen him in the league, in Pittsburgh, and maybe there was another stop in between Pittsburgh and Cleveland, but he's not an NFL quarterback. So just putting that out there. He's more than likely not going to be on the roster once the season starts. Deshaun Watson, injured with 2 Achilles injuries back to back, and all of his off the field stuff. He's an outcast in the league. He may not even be on an NFL roster moving forward. Tyler Huntley, we've seen him in Baltimore. He's a solid quarterback, more of a runner, scrambler type of archetype. He may end up being on the roster. Don't really know. We'll see. They just brought him in last week before the game. Joe Flacco, we know who Joe is. Super Bowl winner with Baltimore years ago, but he's 40, guys. He's not gonna be. He may end up being the week 1 starter, but he's not the quarterback that you're gonna build your franchise around. Okay, and NFL teams nowadays are looking for quarterbacks to build their future around. Joe Flacco is not that. Yes, he can be a good mentor. You know, he still has a rocket of an arm, even at his age. But he's going to take hits. He's going to get up slow. He's not the future, okay? And let's talk about Dillon Gabriel. Played with Oregon. Played with Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken. We saw he put up good numbers, but let's be honest, he's small. He reminds me of Tua, and yeah, he's a little bit more tough than Tua is, but he's still small. I don't think he can sustain. He doesn't have a quarterback body. He's on the smaller side, and if you can't get the ball out quick, he's gonna get hit. He's gonna get injured. I don't see him panning out as the guy. I think he could be a solid backup, potentially. I'm just a Shedeur guy for this team. And if you look at the pieces that are around Cleveland, they could really begin to go into a youth movement with their offense. They drafted fairly well this past draft, getting Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson, the two running backs. They still have Cedric Tillman, who came on the scene last season, toward the end of the season. Jerry Jeudy, solid receiver. They drafted Harold Fannin, the tight end, and they still have Njoku. So those two tight ends could be very, very good for a rookie quarterback going into the season. So with all that being said, I just think Shedeur is the guy. Now we'll see how it pans out for these next two preseason games. But personally, I just think Shedeur is the guy. I think he's gonna do very well. And I really hope that if they choose not to go with Shedeur, I really hope that somebody trades for him. Somebody that, you know, maybe in a situation to where they have an older quarterback, or, you know, they want to make him the backup, things like that, to where he can really like be the guy. I don't want to see him fourth string, where he's fourth string right now. And something that really made me upset is that despite his solid performance, the Browns didn't even move him up on the depth chart. Like, I just feel like that's a little bit disrespectful. But that's just me. The Browns have a really good defense. Myles Garrett, they have some decent corners, good linebackers as well. So honestly, I feel like if Shedeur is the quarterback this season, they can really surprise some people. And another thing I wanted to mention, Shedeur is tough. He's tough, and he can make any throw. He stands in the pocket. We saw how bad that offensive line was in Colorado. He got hit. He got hit so much. He got sacked, but he got right back up. He threw some passes that were just mind-blowing. Getting hit, throwing them touchdowns to Travis Hunter and those other wide receivers there. I think he can really do damage in this league if only he had the opportunity. So, Browns, do the right thing and make Shedeur the starter for your team going into this season. Let me know down in the comment section what you all think about this Browns situation. Should Shedeur be the starter, or should they do a Joe Flacco situation to where he's the starter and then they transition Shedeur in? Or do you think it should be a healthy competition between Dillon and Shedeur? Like, this quarterback situation in Cleveland is crazy. Let me know down in the comment section what you all think Cleveland should do, and I'll be down in the comment section talking about it with you all as well. Like the video, comment, subscribe to the Talking Sports podcast right here on YouTube. Thank you all, and be blessed. Peace.